Hello, this is Claudius Minimus. I am talking to you from showing you my Create on a Potato PC Sky mod, and this is on our server. And this is my base here right now, and today I just wanted to make a quick little video about server lag and how to be able to optimize your base using Create. Now I've got some things here set up that are optimized and some that are not. And I'm in the process of actually optimizing my base. So I wanted to share this. Earlier today I was flying around and I noticed some pretty awesome bases on my server. But some of them had a lot of things that were creating lag. And we noticed that when those players are on it, lag does definitely increase. So in this video, what I wanted to show you is things like exposed belts, exposed gears, exposed shafts. These things all have to be rendered. Also, you can see all these items going by. And when you have a long conveyor belt of a lot of things moving, and especially if they're moving a lot of things quickly, that takes a hit. And it can affect your FPS, or your frames per second. It can also affect the ticks per second, which is something that can really definitely affect the server. Frames per second will basically affect your client, but or your Minecraft game itself when you connect to a server. So here are some things that you can do. You can actually cover these items up. All you need is an andesite casing or a brass casing, and sometimes a copper casing, which works with plumbing items. But all you gotta do is take your andesite casing and you just right click on it. It doesn't get consumed, and so you don't have to worry about making an andesite casing or a brass casing for each item you want to cover. You just go up to it, right click on it, and you can see it covers them up. Those things are no longer are exposed, and so they don't have to be rendered, and that makes it easier on a server. So we just, I'm covering all these little things up here, and by themselves they may not matter a whole lot, but together it does make a huge difference. Now here is a section where I've got the belt is covered with an andesite tunnel. You can also use a brass tunnel. Those are good for filtering things, and they look nicer. But you can actually see by right clicking with your wrench, you can see inside and see that there are actually items inside of here. But when it's all closed up, that's easier on your computer, easier on the server. And so this particular crushing setup is definitely more optimized, than this one was, because I pretty well have optimized it now. Everything that can be covered is covered. You'll notice that on the front side here, I've also got the andesite tunnels covering the belts, and so that way we just want to try to to make the server run as smooth as possible. Another thing that's really handy are these stockpile switches. Now the stockpile switches, you basically have two sliders, and you use your wheel mouse to adjust these. You just adjust it to where you want it. They come by default at 75%. When it's 75% full, the item the redstone signal will trigger, and when it drops below, in this case 25%, then the signal will go off. Now what that means is, if you use it in conjunction with a redstone link, so you can see in this particular case here, this redstone link is activated, and the reason it's activated is because this slider here was at 75%. Now the items are being used, so it's slowly being depleted. When it gets down to 25%, what will happen is it'll start calling for more items. And so in this case here, this switch here shows gravel from a barrel. And if I go over here, there's gravel over a barrel. And so just to give you an example, if I take and right click on this, let's invert the signal, and you'll see that those went off and it's receiving gravel. Now let me go ahead and Now see, what happens is right now it actually overfilled, and so things are going to go off. So let's go ahead and shut that off, and I'll come back and pick that up later. It'll just stay there on the on the belt. Oh, actually I have something down here I didn't realize we had. Okay, there we go. So yeah, and if you have a belt like this that doesn't have something at the end to stop it, then this stuff will just go off and just sit on the ground, and you'll lose all this stuff. It's also, you can end up with a lot of things on the ground. I had a base that I had to clean up. Oh, it was a few weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, that had stuff everywhere, and this basically it lagged out the server, and I had to go and shut down a lot of machines. One of the things that you don't want to do, and actually in this case on this particular base, and it's really common, I've done it, and that is you use belts for transmitting power. So instead of using shafts, they use belts. Belts are cheap, and the nice thing about a belt in early game especially, you're able to start getting things powered up. But you ultimately want to put them inside, use shafts inside a casing. So for example, there's a shaft right there, and so there isn't anything to render except for the andesite casing. There's no rotating item. So if you do those two things, use stockpile switches and cover things up. The stockpile switches again to auto shut off things to be sent to you, and auto shut off the machine. Actually, let me just show you one more thing here. This machine here, I will go ahead and invert the switch, and once I invert it, you'll see that, oh, the machine didn't shut off. It should have shut off. This is, oh, I probably inverted the wrong one. Wrong stockpile switch. So let's put it back the way it was. I need to go over to, where is it? That should have been the right one, but I'll go over to this one right here. Let me see if I invert this one, what happens. Ah, still the wrong one. Okay, such a noob here. Ah, we'll use this one. That's the one. There, and now you can see with it inverted, the machine is shut off. And so I will go ahead and sign off for now. Thanks for watching.